and welcome to the trade on a very busy day as we continue to monitor the fallout of President Trump imposing a 10% baseline tariff on all imports to the US and higher duties on dozens of other countries, including some of the US's biggest trading partners. Now, this is deepening the trade war that has rattled global markets and bewildered some of the US allies. We've seen stocks dive, bonds surge, the dollar rise, our dollar fall, Asia's markets, of course, coming under pressure. And also looking at the world leaders reacting to tariffs. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney saying the country will fight the tariffs with countermeasures and, quote, build the strongest economy in the G7. The Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is saying it will be the American people who will pay the biggest price for the, quote, unjustified tariffs, and Australia will not be seeking to impose reciprocal tariffs. We've seen imports of oil, gas, refined products exempted from President Trump's sweeping new tariffs, and gold prices, of course, no surprise, continuing to hit records amid a flock to safety. Let's get, though, into the technical market reaction, and Nick Twidale from ATFX joins me now. Nick, gosh, what a day. Let's start with Aussie dollar, smashed. Smashed,
yes. Funnily enough, the first move was actually slightly higher on the initial impact, and then that was it, straight down. But it's quite proud of this chart actually that I threw out this morning. It's hit top and bottom perfectly, through no other reason than I think a little bit. The fundamentals literally changed. It was lifted slightly higher on the initial. I think the initial 10%, because that was perceived as actually being a little bit softer. But then once the reciprocal tariffs came in, and I'm sure you were enjoying your breakfast cereal like I was while I was watching it, then it's got smashed. And I think the way is clear. It's risk-off trades for all currencies. So it is buy the dollar against everything bar the yen.
Okay, so you've got the Kiwi in here too. I mean, I assume it's kind of moving similarly to the Aussie. What are we seeing here? Very
similar, and I kind of we don't always throw the Kiwi in because we're not seeing too much excitement then, but it did top out on that longer term. That's the I think that's the hourly chart, but it did top out on that trend line as well. So I think that through that, and just because the technicals are working, and in these markets where we are getting big figures in minutes and hours, especially in the dollar yen, we've kind of got to pay attention to the technicals as well, and that's your entry and exit point. So I just threw the Kiwi in just because, for a change, it popped out really nicely on the resistance trend line.
All right, well, let's get to some of the big ones though. Sterling, what is it doing?
So sterling's not been hit as hard, and I think what we've got. I mean, we're down back to that 129.50 level, but we got back up to 130. I haven't actually seen where our update is at the moment. Sterling got hit. The UK got hit by 10%, whereas you got the EU getting hit by I think 25, somewhere around there. So I think the opportunity now, and I've put only majors up, but I think the opportunity will come in cross currencies where the harder hit jurisdictions will probably see their currencies suffer more so than some of the others, and that gives the ability to take the dollar out of the equation for some of these trades. So
I know we don't necessarily have a chart, but yen is really where you're going to play it, right? And I think Goldman Sachs said that was going to be their key hedge.
Yeah, so I think dollar yen's already taken a massive hit. It's done two big figures on the day, just for fun, as it does. And I think once Tokyo really gets revved up, we're going to see more yen buying across the board. But I would say yen crosses are probably going to be the favourite. Aussie yen is always a big risk-off trade, and this is probably the perfect environment for it. Euro yen will get hit. Sterling yen I think sterling yen to a lesser extent. So I'm keen on maybe selling euro sterling. I think some of these cross plays will come in, but certainly the dollar will probably remain king for the next few sessions at least, unless we see a change. And of course, you have to put that caveat on it. It was a strong press conference. It was an amusing press conference. But I think he's come out. And now, will there be a lot of deals on these reciprocal tariffs? And we see more volatility as each country maybe goes cap in hand. I'm not sure.
So I had a guest earlier that said President Trump has basically upended the World War II or the end of World War II economic momentum that we've had since the end of that war. A very, very strong quote. What does that mean in terms of ties with Europe, how Europe's going to react, what we see in euro dollar?
I think, despite the amusingness of this morning's press conference, I don't think he's that silly that he's undoing all these ties, and even some of the wording he was using, like these are our friends, and they're tough guys, and they're this. I thought that was interesting to see. So I think he's still open to certain deals, but I don't think I think there's still a chance we don't get this global trade war that we're all looking for. I think he's looking to, if we look at the underlying 10% tariffs, then it might not be too bad, but still it's a negative for global growth, whichever way we look at it. And what I think we would have preferred to get today across the market is certainty, and we probably still haven't got it. And because we've got that uncertainty, I think we still do see gold move higher. We do see risk-off trades coming in. And it's going to be interesting over the next days and weeks to see if there is any change in those reciprocal tariffs, or if they're going to stay in place for a long time. And, you know, China with 54% alone is a massive hit to global growth.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what a time to be alive. Nick, thank you. Nick Twidale from ATFX.